Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. We are live streaming here at the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom as we do every weekday. We cover a wide range of topics, and something that a lot of people have been discussing today are K-trucks. Now, what is a K-truck? I'm going to show you what it looks like here in just a second, but essentially it is a Japanese vehicle that is manufactured over there, but used in a lot of places. Currently, however, it is not legal to drive one on the streets in Oregon. And there is a new bill, 1213, that would change that, and we're going to be discussing that here in a minute. Before I do that, though, just to show you again what we're referencing, once you see a picture of it, you probably have seen that before, but that's giving an example there of what the term K-truck could be referencing. So you have that as we go through this discussion. And we're going to be talking about this legislation. One of the co-sponsors of the bill is Representative Hai Pham. And joining us right now, thank you very much for being here, Representative. I appreciate it. And, I think to start off, to really educate everybody, when we say K-truck, could you perhaps give everyone maybe a better definition of what that is?
Great to see you again, Greg. So essentially what a K-truck is a smaller truck. It's manufactured in Japan, usually has a smaller engine, 660 cc's or less. So equivalent of 40 horsepower. So think of a small motorcycle like a Honda CBR, usually around 600 cc or so. It's a very small, fuel-efficient vehicle that is used in Japan to maneuver into small, tight alley and spaces used in construction industry, agriculture. We see the same here in the United States. Some of these vehicles, depending on the state, are allowed to be used on the road and then for agriculture use and things like that.
Just to clarify, are they gas or electric powered?
They are gas powered.
Gas powered vehicles. Okay, and so with those, with the smaller profile that they have, one of the things with this bill is it would legalize them for Oregon. So can you maybe walk through why it's illegal other places or what's not legal here in Oregon to have them on the streets?
Yeah, that's correct. So currently, in some other states, they allow them on street use. Currently, if these vehicles or trucks are 25 years or older, they can be imported into the United States for use. Here in Oregon, right now, the way the current law is set up, they're not allowed to be used because they don't meet some standards for road use. So these vehicles could potentially be modified to be used on the regular roads and not just on private properties, agricultural land, and things like that. How I see things is, there are other vehicles that are 30, 40 years old that we still use and operate safely here on regular roads. And so this could be something that we could include in that category and allow, business owners who, have businesses to, use this to carry, eggs, supplies into tight alleyways and things like that.
And for those reasons that is currently not legal, would this bill change some of the emissions rules or regulations for specifically these vehicles?
It would not change the emission rules at this point. It would just make an exception so we could use this. And Senator Broadman and myself, we came together, had a wonderful idea. Hey, let's see if we can get this vehicle into Oregon for use. And Senator Broadman has been a great champion of this bill also.
And when you talk about these being imported, so with the other states, is there a pretty big market for these elsewhere? Or what would it take to really develop enough of a market here?
Absolutely. I think there's a high enough demand for it. I mean, these are very inexpensive vehicles. These are around $5,000 used. And so if compared to like a brand new F-150 or F-250, those vehicles can be $60,000 up to $100,000+ for these bigger trucks. So this would be a very cost-effective way for owners to get a nice truck to use for daily use or for use for work and things like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned a couple of those different use cases. When we're talking about urban, I assume you mean places like Portland where there may be tighter alleyways or streets. Is that kind of one of the use cases that you're thinking of?
That's correct. That would be the intended use. The Bend area would be a great place that they can use into if they have little smaller areas in the city center and things like that. And they're very fuel efficient. I mean, you can get anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per gallon for the use on these trucks.
You also mentioned the agricultural use or rural use of these. Are they robust enough with that engine to be able to be used for actual farm work or something along those lines?
Yeah, my guess would be more lighter use farm work. You're not gonna be hauling a payload 2 or 3,000 pounds in the bed of these small trucks. But yeah, smaller use, kind of like a small Kubota or something like that.
And for people who may not be for them, do you know what some of the cons are, what some of the arguments are for them to not be legalized here in Oregon?
Yeah, at this point, we haven't heard any opposition to having these vehicles come to Oregon. So if they do come out, more happy to follow up with you on what some of the cons. And if there are, we'd have these individuals and groups come to the table and we talk about what some of their concerns are and see how we could address them.
Okay. And what are the next steps then for this bill now that it's been introduced?
Yep. So what would be next is waiting for a public hearing, and once we have a public hearing, then we would then talk to all stakeholders and see if this is something that we want to move forward. And if we do, then near the end of the session here, so then it would go to the committee for a work session, and then from the work session, if it has no fiscal impact, then it would go to the other chamber because currently it's been submitted on the Senate side. It would then go over to the House side for a floor vote, and then after that, it would go to the governor's office if it passes on the House chamber to be voted into law, so we can use these vehicles.
How long would you anticipate? Are we talking years or within a year?
Yeah, but most likely within a year. If we can do that, we can start seeing these vehicles here in Oregon.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us to walk through that and just to give that explainer to everybody. And as people are talking about K trucks and just what they are, some people are just learning about them. Some people have been advocates for them for a while, but definitely an interesting subject. And we'll see where this goes. I would love to follow up with you as this makes its way through the different chambers as well. So thank you very much, Representative, for joining us here today at Fox 12 Now.
Hey, great to see you again. Take care.
You too. And for everybody watching, again, thank you for being a part of this. This is Fox 12 Now. We get to have these longer form segments and get a little bit more in depth on some of these issues of the day. And K-Trucks, that SB Bill 1213, would make them legal on the streets of Oregon. Let us know what you think, and make sure to download the Fox 12 Oregon app and share this segment with others. We're going to be talking about this a little bit more here in a few. If you're watching live, I'll be back at 3:40 p.m. Also with an advocate from JDM Oregon Advocates, and they are also in favor of this bill and they actually wrote in, so we're going to hear from them as well. So that's coming up. I'll take a break though. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.